On the whole, I've been a saint to those poor unfortunate souls.
Hello and welcome to Poor Unfortunate Podcast. I'm Conor Perkins.
And I'm Caroline A. Meddy.
This is the Disney podcast for grown-ups where we shoot the shit about Disney the way that you do with your friends. Welcome to all listeners, returning or new. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is our bi-weekly mini episode series where we go through all the latest and greatest in Disney news. This episode is being recorded on Saturday, March 8th, 2025. So Caroline, what's new?
It's so nice to have you back to ask me that. I missed you last time.
You know, it's nice to be here. It's nice to be here. The septoplasty is going real good.
Oh my gosh,
my
she's
checkup.
breathing.
She pulled some crusties out. Oh my God, that was the most satisfying thing in the world.
Someone at home
is
throwing up and listening to this right now.
She was like, I need a bigger alligator clamp. And I was like, yes!
No! Help me. Okay. Let's talk about the Disney parks because I cannot.
Yeah.
Let's start with Disneyland. I never do that, so let's do that. So the new mission on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, featuring the Mandalorian and Grogu. So first of all, if you didn't know that is happening, will debut in Galaxy's Edge on May 22nd, 2026, which is the same day that the movie The Mandalorian and Grogu will release in theaters. I love when we can just get a new version of an existing. That's how we keep it fresh. That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also related to The Mandalorian and Grogu, Disney announced that BDX droids that first appeared in theme parks will be a part of this film. So if you don't know what those are, first of all, look them up because they are adorable.
Yeah, they're the little like droids in training as they were like going around in Galaxy's Edge.
You can see them walking around Galaxy's Edge. I heard that they were on the Disney Wish as well, which is super cool. But they're like, little free roaming robots. They emote, they dance, and more, and they're just adorable. So they'll be in. I love a new cutie Star Wars creature.
Yeah.
You know I love a Porg. I love a BDX. Like, great. I love it.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And this was announced at South by Southwest, I believe, like today.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, this is pretty fresh news.
So,
yeah.
Fresh news, people. Hot off the press.
Actually, this piece is super fresh, too. Disney confirmed that Herbie and characters from the Fantastic Four will be coming to Tomorrowland in Disneyland. And this feels like, it's not that I want Marvel everywhere in the parks, but Fantastic Four does feel like a really nice key to Tomorrowland.
Well, they've said that the film is very inspired by both Epcot and Tomorrowland anyway. So it plugs in really, really nicely. In the same way that like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind plugged in because they ran with this whole like storyline of Epcot.
Right.
Star-Lord.
Yeah.
I think they're doing that here, and I think it's really, really smart.
I like it. I like it too. I don't know a lot about the Fantastic Four. I have read the comics, long story, but I love the vibe, so I'm into this. I'm into it. Another piece of Disneyland news, we got a peek at the new ride tech for the Stark Flight Lab attraction coming to California Adventure. So riders will be riding in pods of 2 that get deployed to a test station where they will then be grabbed by a robot arm and moved around in a simulated flight. For me, it looks absolutely terrifying. I know people are going to love it, though. Disney also teased that there's going to be a ride variation within that, too. So new experience every time you're on there, which, again, we love. And as a reminder, this attraction is one of 2 coming to Avengers Campus, the other being Avengers Infinity Defense, where riders will board vehicles to visit Marvel locations like Wakanda and Asgard while taking on King Thanos in a large battle across the multiverse. And those vehicles look a little bit more like, they look a lot like Universal ride vehicles to me, like on the Spider-Man attraction in Universal, more like that. Excited. Speaking of first technology peaks, let's hop over to Walt Disney World.
This is insane.
Yeah, we got a peek at the technology that will be used for the Monsters, Inc. suspended coaster coming to Hollywood Studios. So there's a little animation that's available now of the load and unload area of the attraction. And it looks freaking amazing. And it looks a lot like if you have ever been on the Forbidden Journey ride in Universal, it reminds me a lot of that. The vehicles are, of course, very similar because they're suspended, but the liftoff is very similar to that. And the liftoff on Forbidden Journey is so exciting.
Yeah, this is the first vertical launch coaster at Disney. So literally you board on the ground and then it launches vertically up and then connects the track and then launches you forward, just like in the movie. So like when you think about how like in Expedition Everest, like the track flips behind you at that one portion, it's kind of like an effect like that, where it's like this alternating track that moves up. Or if you've been on Hagrid's on
motorbike,
Hagrid's motorbike in Universal,
with the drop,
there's a vertical drop moment there. It's the same thing, only it's the reverse. It's going up instead of going down, which is super
I can get into that.
Cool.
I would rather go up. So like,
yeah, you would rather go up.
I would much rather go up. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to cry the whole time, but it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then staying in Walt Disney World, quick little update here. Living with the Land at Epcot has a little mini makeover for the Flower and Garden Festival. So during the holidays, they will do a holiday overlay, just with like cute little holiday things. And so they're doing that for Flower and Garden. So if you go on, there are little Easter eggs and like little things for you to look for from Moana, Tangled, and Beauty and the Beast, including like several Pascals that you can look for, just like really cute things like that.
I love finding Pascals. Like that's one of the things I love about the Tangled restroom section is all the hidden Pascals.
More Pascal. More Pascal.
More Pascal.
We also have a new bar in Disney Springs. So Patty's Bar is now open, like I think as of like maybe today or yesterday, outside of Raglan Road, just in time for St. Patrick's Day. The detailing on the bar is actually really lovely. And of course, the menu has an extensive offering of beer and whiskey, as well as cocktails, and a solid enough non-alcoholic portion of the menu, which I really appreciate. And I always say that we need more of that. And I'm glad to see that. That's great. And then jumping over to Hong Kong really quickly, Hong Kong Disneyland will be celebrating its 20th anniversary this summer. And they just announced that celebrations will include a new daytime parade called Friendtastic, which will be featuring a really, really amazing looking Encanto float.
Sick.
It's
so
It's
good.
Casita and all of them
Casita.
are there. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's huge. Oh my God.
It's huge. There will also be a new daytime show in front of the Castle of Magical Dreams and a special edition of Momentous, which is the nighttime spectacular with all new drone technology. So I'm looking forward to seeing footage of that.
Now let's hop into some Disney Plus stuff. So things that are now available. The Pixar series on Disney Plus, Win or Lose, that premiered last month, has continued to draw criticism while it's been airing. So previously I talked about how there was a removal of a trans character from the series and how that garnered a lot of criticism from the public and the artists working on the project. But a new wave of condemnation has started because this trans character has been revealed to be replaced by an overtly Christian character. And it's just a little bit too much, if I'm honest. Like it's too much of an overt replacement of like they did the thing.
They did. They did.
And
I feel like it's catering to a very specific audience. And I'll kind of I'll leave it at that for now.
And then Daredevil Born Again had its premiere. So the first 2 episodes aired for their premiere date. And then new episodes come out every Tuesday on Disney Plus at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Things that are announced coming soon. I've got a lot more things in this category to talk about. Moana 2 will have its streaming debut on Disney Plus on March 12th.
Oh my God, I can finally watch
right
it.
around the corner.
I still haven't seen it. Oh,
I haven't either. I'm a bad Disney person.
Yeah, we're bad.
One of the biggest things that I want to talk about is this. So it was announced this past week that Walt Disney Animation Studios will cease producing all long-form programming for Disney Plus, including series and movies. Which, like, why did we ever expect Walt Disney Animation Studios to actually produce things for Disney Plus? It's too much to ask, clearly. But as a result, the highly anticipated musical series Tiana, which is inspired by The Princess and the Frog, and would see original cast members return, including Anika Noni Rose, has been indefinitely shelved. This series was announced 5 years ago, and as of now, there are no plans to salvage this series into another form. So a lot of people have been speculating after the success of Moana 2 being shifted away from its TV form that Tiana would go the same way. But as of right now, there are no guarantees that that's happening. It has just been said that this has been shelved indefinitely.
And I don't want Princess and the Frog 2. I want Tiana the TV show. They're not the same thing. I don't want a sequel. I want to delve more into her as a character. I don't want a sequel.
I think this comes from like a foundational thing of people not really understanding the difference between TV and film as mediums, and that there are very specific things that you can accomplish in either. Not everything, I feel like I always say this, but like not everything that's a book is supposed to be a TV series or is supposed to be a movie, and not every TV series is supposed to be a movie. Like not every stories need to be told a particular way for a reason. And if there isn't a good reason to do it, you shouldn't do it. I
Amen.
firmly believe in that. TV has existed in this form for a very long time for a very specific reason. And to not honor that reason is to set the project up for failure. And not saying that Tiana being pivoted into a film would be a failure, but there was a reason why when they had the option, they chose to create this as a TV series.
Exactly.
So that's all I'm going to say about that, but it's pissed me off. Actually, that's not all I'm going to say about that. Because ironically, just a few days after this announcement, Disney came out and said that they were developing a new TV series based on Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, helmed by Jon Favreau of The Mandalorian, The Jungle Book, and The Lion King. What? And this series is slated to be a live action animated hybrid from Disney Studios, not Disney Animation Studios. But I'm just like, it's reading really, really kind of ugly to a lot of people in the public. And I don't blame them, because people have been anxious for Tiana for 5 freaking years. And the same week that they decide to just like take that away, they're like, oh, we're not doing anything. And then they're like, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And it's like, wait, so there's not enough room for this story that follows our only Black princess, but there is enough room for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Not saying that we shouldn't have Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, but like, we can have both. It's Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's
like,
well, that's what's wild to me. It's Disney Plus. We should be making everything that we can make. Also, is that going to be like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but with Oswald? Like, that's what it sounds like.
It might be.
Okay.
I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Jon Favreau because he does a lot of really, really great things. And I am excited to see what we do with Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, because we would never really have had a great Oswald moment outside of like Epic Mickey the video game recently. So I think it's going to be really exciting for a lot of people to be able to interact with this character. But it's feeling, the way that this news is coming out, it's feeling like this is in place of Tiana, which I know that it's not, but it's reading that way, and that's bad. It's bad. A second season of the Ncuti Gatwa-led Doctor Who series is set to premiere on Disney Plus on April 12th. So there was a lot of speculation as to like whether or not this would keep continuing. Like, it is. So hooray, we get more of Ncuti as Doctor Who. And then a 5th Descendants film has been announced to start production for Disney Plus and Disney Channel. And this next film will take place in Wonderland after the events of The Descendants, The Rise of Red. We'll see descendants of the Mad Hatter, Louisa Madrigal, among other people. I know. So, you know, it's more of that.
Conor, we have to do a Descendants episode.
Oh my God.
We have to. I'm so sorry.
Well, now let's go into some Disney film stuff. So, according to Deadline, 17 months after unionizing, production staffers at Walt Disney Animation Studios have ratified their first labor contract under IATSE's Animation Guild. So the contract provides workers with key protections, including health care and pension benefits, a 24% wage increase for production managers, a 29% increase for production supervisors, and a 35% wage increase for production coordinators, who are historically the lowest paid in that unit. So this is a huge thing for Disney Animation. Things that are now available: Captain America: Brave New World, which debuted on President's Day weekend, has remained at the #1 spot in the box office for 3 consecutive weeks. This weekend, it has been displaced by Mickey 17, but it has currently grossed over $408 million. So while not like the best it's ever been, it's certainly not the worst of a Marvel film. So, you know, go see that movie if you're interested. Stuff that's announced coming soon. The thing that's going to get my attention here in this section is Snow White. So Snow White is set to hit theaters in just a few weeks, but Disney has scaled back with a lot of its premiere and press activities, anticipating anti-woke protests and backlash. They have canceled their UK premiere outright and will instead move it to a castle in Spain. In addition, they have minimized the number of questions that Rachel Zegler receives during press interviews. Some people are saying it's because they're afraid of what she might say. Some people are afraid of what people might say to her. It's kind of a mess. But Rachel Zegler took the stage in Tokyo to debut a single from the film Waiting on a Wish, which is written by Broadway's Pascal Paul. The soundtrack of the film will be released on March 14th, ahead of the film release on March 21st.
Oh, ahead of the film. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing this. You know I love me some Rachel Zegler. People can fight me, okay? I'm ready to fight.
I like Rachel Zegler too. I think she's a phenomenal talent.
This is so effing ridiculous.
This is really weird.
I can't deal with this.
This is really fucking weird. I don't think I've ever seen something like this. Even some of the stuff that Halle Bailey had to go through with The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it feels like the studio has sort of like turned against Rachel Zegler in this film. There have been comments from descendants of people who worked on the original Snow White film, like going, it's a fucking mess right now. I don't know what's happening. I keep looking to try and find the US premiere date of when it will be at the El Capitan Theater, and I can't find it. And I think they're purposefully not publishing it because I think they're anticipating this sort of like anti-woke backlash, and this is absurd.
This is so absurd. Over Snow White, a character that nobody gave a rat's ass about. I can't even deal with this.
She's everybody's like least favorite princess.
Yeah,
and now everyone gives a shit. Like,
I did choose her as my winner in Pillow Fight or season 2, whatever it was. But like, seriously, that's everybody's least favorite princess. People can't be for real about this right now. They can't be. This makes me so mad. I think in all likelihood we will do a bonus episode on Snow White, so we'll talk more then. Talk more then.
But like, this has all been going down within the past week. Like the UK premiere being canceled, that's unheard of. It's now being shifted to just a couple press interviews in the UK, and that's it. Like, it almost feels like Disney is willing to just like, they're ready to just like go belly up and like take a loss on this one. Which is so wild when they did so many reshoots.
Yes.
I don't know.
Also, I'm sorry, if you're going to take the big step of doing a live action adaptation of a Disney animated classic, you just have to stick with it.
Disney animated classic. The one that started it all.
You have to just be like, we did it. We're doing it. And that's it. You can't just drop it. You can't. Oh my God.
And honestly, I'm sorry, but you can't leave the creatives out there to dry. This is crazy. This is absolutely nuts to me.
To be continued.
Yeah, very much so. And then the last thing I'll say is we had the Academy Awards ceremony. So the Walt Disney Company took home one Academy Award at the 97th Academy Awards this year, which went to Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain for Best Supporting Actor, which was produced by a Disney-owned property. And this is the third consecutive year that Disney has lost the Best Animated Feature Oscar, this time losing to Flow. So hopefully lessons are being learned. I don't think they are, because we're just producing more fucking sequels.
Yeah. Oh,
but
man.
I don't know.
What a strange time this is.
It's just
a really
so weird
time.
This Bob moment, the Bob Iger to Bob Chapek back to Bob Iger. This is just like, it's not good. It's not
I know.
good. It's messy.
It's messy. But speaking of Pascal Paul, like Conor said, who wrote the music for the new Snow White movie, as you probably know, they also wrote the music for the Greatest Showman film, which Disney announced would be coming to the stage. So it will be having its stage adaptation opening in the UK at the Bristol Hippodrome in spring 2026. So that's like not in London. It's like an hour and a half outside of London. It'll be directed by Casey Nicholaw, huge Broadway name. I mean, he directed Aladdin on Broadway, if you want to talk about Disney. And it will feature the classic Pascal Paul music from the film, but of course we'll have additional songs for the stage. So as with a lot of these things, I mean, like, actually I was going to say Hercules, but Hercules started in Germany, but like, sometimes we launch things in the UK to see how they do before they come to the States. So let's see what happens. I think there's a huge appetite for The Greatest Showman on stage in the States.
Yeah, there is.
So, yeah.
I hope that they, fix some things with it as they adapt it for the stage. I think that they'll have to, because they'll be sort of like confronted with a more finite space to work with than the sort of music video that we got of what that film is. It's a great music video. It's great.
Yeah, it's a great music video.
Alrighty, so that's going to do it for us for this. Thank you all so much for listening. Please remember, hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. Also, make sure that you find us on social media. We are at Poor Unfortunate Podcast at all of the places. And then we will be back very soon with our tips and tricks episode where we go through the Disney Princess Collection.
Finally, it's happening.
Finally. So until then,
Beluga
Beluga Savruga.